morning, everyone, and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have you, and we're especially thankful for our sponsor, BTC Fiber. Today we have with us Dave Roland. He's the owner of Roland's Digital Media out of Cookeville. And Dave, it's good to have you.
Thank you, Glenn. Glad to be here.
We appreciate you. And want to know, of course, everyone, if you're not aware of Dave and who he is, if you've seen the sign, the billboard sign across the Dunlap restaurant, you'll recognize this is the man behind all that. And we want to ask you a few questions about that, since that's new to Dunlap, and it's brought a lot of discussion, I'll tell you that.
Well, hopefully most of it good.
Oh, it has been. Why did you come to Dunlap? What was the purpose of coming to Dunlap?
Well, to be honest with you, Glenn, I got to roll the clock back about 20-something years, and it started when the road went over the mountain.
Uh-huh.
And I was requested to find a location for a sign by one of the Chamber of Commerce north of here, because basically they didn't want people to turn up 127, they wanted to come up 111.
Yeah.
And there was no legal location except one spot, which is right there next to the oil company. I think it's Mr. Bryant, is that correct?
Uh-huh.
The oil company. And I'll never forget that I had a hard time getting through to Mr. Bryant about a sign location until one day I brought my little 4-year-old blonde-headed son with me, and suddenly he warmed up to the idea and we were able to build a sign. Well, soon after that there was a couple more requests for signage, and we were able to obtain property on both sides of the road going up the mountain toward Chattanooga or Sunny Daisy. And through that process, I met a couple of folks that most people in Dunlap will know the names, Mr. Barney and Miss June Neargard.
Uh-huh.
We built those two signs, and then a couple years later we sold the business and didn't think a lot about it. Well, a few years later we got back in business, and then through some of the leasing arrangements I had, the signs that were out that going up towards Sunny Daisy, the easements came back to us. Oh. And through that began to meet some folks at BTC who were all there on the sign. And one day Mr. Russ Camp from the company, telephone company, we took a ride downtown, and the introduction was made here to Miss Janice at the chamber. And she expressed interest in not only possibly we have a digital sign for the community, but also there had been some money set aside for a digital sign for the chamber and the county, more of an on-premise type. So we started to work on that, and we started to work on the digital location, and wasn't able to work it out immediately, and it took a few months, and then finally got the spot. Well, going back, taking the clock back, made a call to Miss Neargard, and it was just like 25 years later, we hadn't even hung up the phone.
Yeah. And
met her sons, and we were able to make an agreement to put the sign there. And I think it's a wonderful spot. Just as you get off the highway, and they say, and I've actually experienced it myself, you can sit there at the Dunlap restaurant and be entertained a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're happy to be in Dunlap. Wonderful people, beautiful Sequatchie Valley, and I look forward to many years of service ahead.
Well, I noticed how many, I know there's several ads that appear on that. How many ads can you put on that at one time?
Well, you know, the word that you could say would be like TV advertising, it would actually be kind of unlimited. But normally we put 8-second ads in rotation. So an ad there would appear every 56 seconds, and each advertiser, I think, would get 1,350 8-second ads in a 24-hour period.
Wow. And
so that's kind of how it works, and we sometimes we're able to, if a customer cannot afford a full 1,350 ads, we've got that's called a platinum ad package. We'll sell a gold package would be half that, and we split that time between two advertisers. So ultimately you might see more than 8 advertisers, but that's the way the rotation goes.
Oh, well, that's pretty decent. And I know a lot of, like I say, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and they're really excited about it. And Now, compare digital to the normal billboard. I know with digital, it's brighter. You can especially at night, you can see it. Whereas an older billboard, the normal where you just put up the paper sign, basically, it's harder to see. And if you run by it, you may not. You have to be on it to see it sometimes.
Well, there's always going to be a place for both of them, Glenn. To be honest with you, I was not convinced in Cookeville, Tennessee, that we could ever make money on a digital billboard. We've been doing billboards since 1987. Actually, sign business since '84. And when we started, we didn't even have a computer in the office. Everything was done with a pencil, a piece of charcoal, and a paintbrush. And I've been at this going on 37 years this month. And I literally can't draw a stick man, but I've had a lot of good people that can.
Yeah.
But really, the key to the business is, you guess, at any business, you got to have good people. But God gave me the ability, for the most part, to come up with the ideas and was able to kind of get the ball rolling. So, at any rate, the kind of a quick progression of what's happened in our business since the early '80s. It went from hand painting to a company invented a XY plotter, a desktop plotter that would cut vinyl. It was called like vinyl stickers used to be.
Right.
It would cut those, and then from that they graduated to a larger and larger cutters, and then they found like a desktop. It was a printer. I remember the first color printer I ever saw, probably in '85, but this was a printer that would print on vinyl. And those things just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Then in the later '80s, they adapted them for billboards. They would print almost like, if you've ever seen anyone hung, it's like a giant tarp. And
right.
You wrap it around, and the price went down, the quality went up. Of course, it put a bunch of sign painters out of business.
Right.
But it made it much easier on the advertiser and the owner of the company, because you didn't have to wait on a specific person to get that job done.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
Now, talking on the other side, the digital, several years ago, 20 years ago, if you saw something that looked like the sign, they called it a jumbotron. Only people who could afford one would, like, at a sports stadium. And I remember, I think a few years ago, they built one at UT, and it was like $9 million. And really, the first one I ever really looked at price-wise, it just seemed like it was way out of reach. But in 2006, we started doing some research, visited some companies, went to California, there's one in South Dakota, the one that we deal with is Watchfire. They are in Danville, Illinois. We picked them because I actually got to sit down and talk to the owner, just like me and you talking. I had a comfort level, because, to be honest with you, if we hadn't have gotten the right one, it would be like a bad big screen TV. You know? They're not worth a whole lot.
Yeah.
So there came a point where I thought, we will try to invest the money, and it was not a great time in the economy. It was 2009, but at any rate, we invested the money in the first one. It started kind of slow, and then we got it going, and then there was a demand, and I hired a salesman, and then just kind of went from there. And now we're basically stretched from Mount Juliet to the North City.
Well,
with digital billboards and static, what we refer to as a static or traditional billboard. Yes, sir.
Well, what all goes into the digital billboard? I mean, what all do you have to go along with it? I mean, is there computer components and stuff?
Well, basically, it's just a kind of a large computer screen on a stick. But the difference is that's not a screen, single screen itself. It's like the one out here is made. It's 10 foot by 23 foot. It's made of 230 individual LED panels that you can pop in and out in about 2 minutes, each one of them, if you have a repair, all working in concert to produce that picture. Now, what you would see in like on-premise signs and stadiums, things of that nature, you actually see motion. But most states, unless you're like in Nevada or somewhere like that, they don't allow live motion because of the distraction, so to speak. But and actually, our TDOT allows you up to an 8-second interval, just like we have right there, to rotate the ads. But from there, it has a wireless modem. You can control it from anywhere in the United States or the world that you can get a cell signal.
Well,
And if you had good enough eyes and good enough skills on your phone, you could actually compose the ad and put it up from a phone. But it's better to have a mouse and a bigger screen and all, get the artwork right. But from there, there's an online program from Watchfire, and basically the artwork is taken in like a JPEG file, dropped over in the Watchfire run list, given a start and stop date, some specifics, and it uploads in the computer until the computer tells it to. There's a computer on the sign. Until the computer tells it to stop, it continues to play.
Well, that's pretty neat. And as you mentioned, those components are it's a lot easier to fix than.
Basically, it's we do run into some issues every once in a while. We have to make a phone call, but on the most occasions now, basically we keep the parts in stock to repair because we've got so many of them. And when we get a repair to be made, my technicians call the company. They overnight a part to replace the part that we've already got in stock. So it's always you're not running around with a flat tire, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now I'll take it a step further, Glenn. We've out of my office in Cookeville, I have my main. Actually, he's the art director, and he does most of the programming on the sign. He has come up with a couple of proprietary, actually user-friendly programs that you can see if you walk. When you ride by up there, you'll see something called Billboard for Me. He'll say birthday ads and anniversary ads and this ad and that ad. And that basically is a program that he came up with where you can go online either on your cell phone or on your laptop and just say you want to wish your mother Happy Mother's Day. You drag the picture in, you just type the copy in. Here's where I want it to run. Here's how many days I want it to run. It's like $29.95 a day. Click, and if we have availability there, it goes on the sign automatically. You never have to talk to anybody.
Well,
he actually also came up with another program that we've been running for three years or so now called Tasty Ad, which is an automated design program. It's for billboard companies where you don't have to have a lot of Photoshop skills. You can design and put up ads, more simple, simplistic ads, and it's a good sales tool also.
Well, that would be an increase in sales for y'all since you're adding more variety.
Yes, and then, there's always going to be some space there, and we're all about the community. It's just like right now, if you go by there, you'll see some Welcome to Dunlap info. We do our best to support the chamber, the local events. We have to pay the light bill, and honestly, it's like you bought a new TV. The day you turn it on or a computer, it starts going dark. Yeah. So we have a great investment there, and we have to pay Miss June, but we like to give back as much as we can.
Yeah, Miss June is a good person, and that's actually a good site because I know when I've been at the restaurant, I'll sit there and watch the ads to see who all's on there, and I've seen some. I think I've seen some anniversary or birthday ads.
Yes, sir.
And so that's a good option for people. Well, do you have any more sites in the valley that you might be looking at, or?
Well, there's kind of like there's supply and demand.
Uh-huh.
Actually, this is probably for right now. We never say never. I mean, some of the locations that we have, just like Westmoreland. Westmoreland is not near as big as Dunlap, but basically it depends on the traffic. You've got a main intersection there on Highway 52 and actually 31W and 31E, I guess. One of the 31s and 52 and 231 are all together right there. So it's a shortcut from Nashville or Lebanon to I-65 on above Bowling Green. Lots and lots of traffic, and you got the red light there, and there's really not a lot in Westmoreland we advertise for, but we advertise all around there on that sign. So can I say we're not? No, but it's not in the immediate future.
So anybody really can advertise on this sign or any of your signs?
Well, we do have limitations. We've got certain guidelines. I guess we're pretty conservative from a standpoint, the moral standpoint, and we're very careful not to do things that would be offensive to most of the people in the community. And sometimes we get a little flack over that we don't advertise certain types of businesses, but we feel like that God's blessed. We just know how God's blessed us, and we don't want to step outside the boundaries we feel like that has been set for us.
Well, that's good, because I've seen some of those ads, and I appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you.
And your stand and your morals.
Thank you, sir.
Because we need more of that.
Well, if my wife or my daughter, who's now an attorney, if I couldn't be happy with them looking at it, it's not going up there.
Well, that's a good standard.
Thank you.
Because you've got to keep your family in mind, and that's what drives the economy in the country, is family.
Well, like this, if there was a certain offensive ad that went up there, just say for something, even in another town, and the next ad that popped up there was for the chamber, well, then it's not going to be a good reflection on the community or
Right.
or anybody concerned. Now, a national company may not feel that way, and most of them don't, but we have to set a higher standard.
Well, that's good, because I think most of the people around here work on that higher standard. At least that's my feeling anyway, from what I've been able to pick up, and it would hurt your business, if you went negative on things, and of course, but with this time of the year, even with the politics and everything going on, it's hard to. It's hard to pick.
It's hard to straddle the fence sometimes. Usually, in the political realm, I've had opposing candidates. Putnam County, growing up there all my life, it's a lot of people want the same sign, and it's kind of like a first come first serve thing, and so it does become a little touchy sometimes. But we just try to make everybody make a place for everybody we can that's doing a good job.
And I'm assuming your reception has been pretty good here in Dunlap.
It has. We have not been able to give it the attention that we should have, but we've just hired a second salesman, and his name is Mark Drawn, other salesman Todd Powell. We were covering 18 counties. But basically
really?
one person in a piece. I'm not even a tenth of a person because I've had to wear so many hats. But now we've got 2 full-time salespeople, so you'll be seeing our little cars with Roland on them, and our salespeople, or account reps, I guess you'd call them, more regularly, be able to give you more personal attention. However, when someone purchases an ad from Roland, the easiest way to communicate is via email, and usually it doesn't take less than an hour. If you say you're Glenn that wants to change an ad for Bledsoe Telephone, I need an ad for XYZ for this event, and if we need to get artwork or pictures or whatever, you send those. Usually within an hour you will have a proof, and once you prove that, it's just a matter of minutes. It's plain on the sign.
Well, that's neat, because that's good, and that's quick and easy, and well, I won't say it's easy, but
it is easy. As you know how much a computer makes things much easier.
Yeah.
It's much. When I first saw it and how seamlessly it ran, it almost seemed too good to be true. But it is the business we're in. Not that we don't have problems. I've got a little looks like a module in the new little chamber sign out here in the V. I've got to change out because for whatever reason it could just be a little mechanical thing on the louver that I can adjust it before I leave. But if not, then the boys have to come down and bring a part. And so there is maintenance there. It's not all just a piece of cake.
Right. I mean, you have trouble with your equipment just like everybody else.
Exactly.
And when it comes to computerized equipment, that's a little different than just hammer and nail pieces.
It is, but the thing I feel one most blessed about is we picked the right partner going in. You can buy a digital sign from overseas for much less, probably a third or less than you could buy one that we buy. But our whole business is based on this, is being able to have those things up and running 24/7. And I've seen digital signs come in my shop that somebody else ordered, a customer ordered for a business that on-premise sign that came from overseas, and one of them I remember, the cooling fans came on, but the sign never came on ever.
Oh.
And from there, we put one up. He bought two, put another one up, and it probably, I guarantee, it stayed up less than 2 years. There was no software, there was no printed information, there was nothing there, and we were just going blind with it. Finally, we got the one hooked up, and it ran a little bit. But in that situation, you just lost all your money, rather than just. And then on the other end of that spectrum, we've got some right now that are well over 10 years old, and we've got some on-premise signs that are older than that we have actually installed. So, the old saying, "You get what you pay for,"
yes,
is still true.
Well, how can people get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you about signage?
Well, best way is our office. We have a website, rolandadvertising.com. My cell number, I won't try to make people remember it, but everybody's available there. You can contact us through email at rolandadvertising.com. We've got a local phone number there. I always got somebody in the office during business hours. We are a local Upper Cumberland business. We also, my wife and I have a little place on the Caney Fork up here in Van Buren County. This area is one of our favorite places in the world. We love to eat here, we love to shop here, we love to be here, and we just want to make ourselves available for the future and I know Dunlap's growing.
Yes.
All the great little communities are growing, and we're just thankful to be a part of it.
Well, that's good, because I know there's a lot of things coming forward for Dunlap that's going to cause the area to grow and to bring in business and to bring in tourists. And of course, signs like yours will help along the way, and your involvement in the community will help as well.
Well, we just want to be a partner, and my wife is really, really big on small business, and I'm big on small business. We're still a small business, a very small business, but it kind of all goes in a circle. We've had people that we were able to help, and excuse me, as their business grows, we're just able to participate as they grow.
Well, that's good. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we turn off?
Well, I would like to close in saying thank you to Miss Janice, to BTC as we've been our customer, because it was a introduction from Russ to Janice that kind of started this whole thing, and also Miss June, who we've had a relationship for years. And I want to share just a little note. Some of y'all saw the ad. I was so thankful that we were able to wish her and her sister a happy birthday.
Oh yeah.
As their little looked like they're about 4 years old, and when she said, "Would you mind with a birthday ad?" I said, "Well, have you got a picture when you were younger?" And she said, "Well, I'm going to send this one." It was her and her sister, and I was just, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say thank you again to Dunlap, Sequatchie County, Bledsoe Telephone, all of our customers. So, and I appreciate your time and let me be here.
Well, we appreciate you very much. And folks, we appreciate you watching us, and remember, you can see us on the BTC Fiber YouTube page as well as Channel 18. And remember to like us and share us and on our Facebook page as well. And with that, we'll close. And thank you very much. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Sequatchie Valley.